What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my build. This is my 2001 Suzuki SV650, customizing it, turning it into sort of like a, I don't know, Brat street tracker hybrid of a bunch of stuff, just the bike that I want it to be. I've got it running. I've finished building this subframe for the seat, and now I got to button it all up and get it on the road. So starting with building a tray for the battery and all the electricals, and then finding a way to mount my seat to the subframe, and then welding on the exhaust. And then later on just personalizing it, probably look at changing the color of the tank, maybe some different tires. Not quite sure yet, but everything that I need to finish turning this bike into exactly what I want. Okay, so here's my electrical tray that I got mocked up, kind of acts as my rear fender as well, and my battery will sit here, and all my electrical components, fuses and all that kind of stuff can sit right in there. So I was able to just cut this out of one piece of sheet metal and bend it up and tack it together. Still got to weld it, but yeah, pretty happy with how this turned out. Definitely not a sheet metal pro, but I like how snug it fits, and it'll definitely do the job. So next thing I need to work on is getting this seat mounted onto the subframe. There will be a little bit of a gap in the front. I want it to kind of hug the tank nice and high, and I also want to make it removable. So I'm thinking of doing two brackets here that are slotted so that I can slide the seat back and in, and then drop it into something in the front, and I'll hold it secure. I'm also going to fill up that gap in between the seat and the bar, probably with a bit of thicker sheet metal. It's going to hold it nice and strong. So I'm going to get started on working on a seat mount and working on that mechanism that can hold it in there. So I got the mounting for my seat pretty much sorted out. I made these brackets, or I basically just cut the brackets that came with the seat down so that they'll slot in, and I've got this bar that's going to weld across the back of the subframe, so that will just slide in like that. And then I made this as a mount for the front, and I actually found a latch. I was able to buy a latch from a Suzuki, and I made these bolts here with a little notch in them, so they'll pretty much just drop right in there, click in, and then I just pull that cable and these pop out. So that's how I'm going to mount my seat. So one of the things about making a new subframe is I've also got to do this tank mount for the gas tank, the lower one. I think it's in the subframe, and unfortunately it doesn't line up perfectly with this. I wish it did, because I could just put a long bolt right through there. But what I found out is if I take a bolt like this, it actually lines up pretty much right with the nut of this one here. So I can pretty much just weld these here, and when I want to put the tank on, I slide that in, and then I have the nut right here, and I just tighten this on, and that should hold the tank enough at the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and get that welded up, and that should fit perfect. So definitely not the prettiest welds on this. This material did not want to weld very well, but it should be strong enough, and that holds, and I'm actually pretty happy with how simple that is. Tank's super solid, doesn't move at all, and I can still take it in and out pretty easy. So yeah, good simple solution. Alright, so we've been working away on the bike. We got this battery tray tacked in, and the rear bar for the seat to latch onto tacked in. Also got the exhaust welded on here nicely, and then a few other small things to get the bike riding. Installed the horn, stuff like that, and then started working on a bracket for this muffler that I'm going to probably go off of there. Next thing is to get this front mount for the seat to bolt to the seat itself, some sort of thing to mount it there, and then we'll be able to ride it hopefully. Okay, so got the seat to mount up, but these brackets don't really work properly. Basically what I can't do is when I slide the seat back and in, I can't lift it up high enough to be able to pop these out properly. They're just too far forward from the back of the seat. So I'm gonna make something else that's gonna go off of these and come right to the back, and then slide in right at the back, where then these can pop in. All right, so I got this bracket made up. I probably could have made it more pretty, but I just wanted to get this thing done, and it's actually not too bad. And it actually lines up perfectly with this here in the back. I also did 2 tabs underneath it, so that should line up. So now I can just drop it in. Drop it in, it lines up in the back, and that drops in much nicer. So definitely a lot easier to remove. Problem solved. So the bike rips. I was able to take it on its first ride yesterday. I was horrible with filming it because we were working on like 4 different projects and had a whole bunch of people here, and we were rushed to get out, but got the rest of this seat stuff mounted up, or sorry, welded up, and the seats mounted. And I was able to pretty much put it all together and take it for a ride just around the parking lot, up and down the street. But it's super good because I just know that everything works, which is perfect. So gonna try and get this thing on the road properly soon. A couple last things I need my brake light in there, so I'm gonna start working on that. I need to do a license plate mount. I'm thinking something like a sideways plate down here or something like that, because I don't really want to mess up that area. I really like the look there. And then I should be able to insure it and get it on the road. And then there's going to be some other changes, mostly cosmetics. Still change the color of the tank. Got to put some sheet metal in there, fill that gap, and give the seat some extra support, and probably tires down the road. Okay, so I made this piece out of metal that will house the brake light here, and then what I gotta do is I gotta cut out of here pretty much the shape of this. This will sit recessed into there, and then I can grind the edges down to match it perfectly and weld it all flush, and that way my brake light will sit flush with the rear of my bike. Okay, so I cut this piece out for here, but it's actually the wrong angle and won't fit. So unfortunately, I've got to make another one here. So I'm tracing it out, gonna quickly put another one together that should fit nice and flush. Okay, got this rear piece finished finally, and pretty happy with how this turned out. So that sits nice and flush right in there, right with the bar. This is perfect. Got to give credit where this is due. I actually watched a guy's build, Brick House Builds is the YouTube channel, and I took some inspiration from this, and also actually for the latch for the seat. So modified it and made my own, but stoked with how this turned out. I think it's going to look pretty good on the bike. So next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to basically clean all of this down, paint it, get that installed on the bike, and then the bike should be ready to ride. Alright, I think I'm going to end this video here. It's getting a little bit long, so sweet to take the bike for its first ride. It's getting super close. Probably one more video, finish off the seat, mount the license plate, and then I can ride this thing for the rest of the summer. So yeah, hope you're enjoying it so far. One more to come.